Hey guys, so I am going live today and I'd like to introduce a special guest today. Um, we will be going and talking about the Priestess of Isis and what it represents and what it means to be a priestess. And I will be talking a little bit more in depth of if you're interested to join us, what you'll actually receive, what you'll get out of the container. It's not your typical feminine embodiment, your priestess. We dive deep into initiations of the goddess herself. For myself, I've been teaching these teachings of the mystery school teachings, ancient Egypt, Egyptian Tantra, sacred sexuality. For over 15 years now, I've been taking spiritual journeys to Egypt over the last 15 years and being initiated in these temples, these powerful, powerful temples. And each year I go. And when I first started, I was doing these spiritual tours to Egypt 3 times a year. And as I journeyed there, each time is so powerful for me. I download so much. Being a international clairvoyant medium, I'm able, and a tantrika priestess, I'm able to download the codings in these temples. And over the last 15 years, um, I've been able to gather all the information and put it all together in one beautiful package for you in the Priestess of Isis, and learning what it means to be a priestess and what it means to have these ancient teachings and bring it into the modern day, priestess. Yeah, because we know in ancient times, the times were so, so much different. So much different. And these days now, we're going through such transformation, and the priestesses have a different type of role. So, Brianna, how are you, sister?
Hi, I am so good. Happy full moon. So nice to
Happy full
reconnect with
moon.
you.
Oh, goosebumps.
Mm.
Now, I'd love to introduce Brianna. Brianna did our Priestess of Isis was it last year?
You're
Last year and the year before.
two years
Two
ago.
2 years ago, yes,
Yeah.
beautiful. And I think we journeyed from the previous year into um, last year. I think and at the time we went through such transformation. I know at the time, um, that astrologically everything was changing and shifting, and the priestesses of that time, we were going through such transformation. I remember that container was such a powerful, powerful group, such a powerful journey to be on. So, sister, how are you? And tell me a little bit what's been going on in your world since the Priestess of Isis.
Mm.
What has been unfolding for you?
So much has unfolded since then. Yeah, that was such a supportive container for me and where I was at in my life at that time. I remember I had just gone through a breakup and was living in a different town and was feeling very lost on like where I was and my path and what I wanted to be doing, and your container was just so supportive for where I was at that point in my life and my
Mhm.
journey. And I just remember like feeling so held by it because I had moved to that new town and gone through
Yeah.
that breakup. And yeah, since then, like I've continued my mystery school teachings and studies and just gone deeper into my own priestess path and opening up
Mhm.
more more oracular abilities within myself. And yeah, that was just a huge stepping stone for from there. I started holding new moon ceremonies for women in that town. And then now
Mm.
I'm back in Mount Shasta. And yeah, that was like a big stepping stone in me starting my business and working with women one on one to provide a safe sacred space for them to heal and really step into their own inner goddess and their own divine feminine energy and feel safe to be in their self-expression and their creativity. So yeah,
Oh,
your course was
so
just
beautiful.
such a like building block for me.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. And it really is. And it is for the sisters that want to really step on the path. And especially you were already opening up your path already. And it was like, I remember for you, if I can share a little bit, is more that you were ready to go full force, full power. There was no turning back. This was it. And this is the container. The container is about to give you the confidence to really step into that power, that leadership, because there's so many sisters that are ready to step up in their soul mission. But there's some sisters that are ready to step up in leadership and take that high priestess energy. And I know that's what you were doing. And I felt that with you. And it was beautiful. I loved journeying with you, and it's so good to see you. So good to reconnect, because we have not really reconnected on like FaceTime since, I think.
Yeah, I think it's just been like some messages here and there saying hi, and but this is like the first face connect that we've had in a couple of
Mm,
years.
yeah.
And yeah, it's just it's so beautiful too because like I've been really connecting with like the Virgo, you know, the moon, full moon being in Virgo and it carrying that priestess energy and have just been kind of going deep into the history of the high priestesses and them initiating one another as they continued to like, you know, the ones that had been through all of it were the ones like initiating. So it's just like so beautiful that like I went
Mm,
through your program and like your initiations and then now I from there have stepped into my own priestess power of leadership. And yeah, so it's like it's just beautiful to see those evolutions and us continuing to help each other, especially
yeah,
as women in this time that like we really need that that sisterly support from one another.
yeah. Definitely, definitely. And this is what it's about. It's about sharing that knowledge to the sisters, the other priestesses. And, you know, that's when Brianna, that's when we step up um, in our leadership to be able to show other people, yes, sister, this is the path. You know, those that are, you know, knocking at the door, wanting to have a look behind the veil, you know, and we allow them, we allow people to show that it is easy to step up. But it's initiation in itself, but it's easy to take the step. And, you know, this is what it is. And being the gatekeeper, I guess, isn't it? Being able, now
Mhm.
you are a gatekeeper.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean each time that we expand and step into these like levels up, you know, that like you said, it is an initiation each time and it can feel so scary, but you grow your capacity to hold
Mm,
more. And sometimes it takes like certain life events to really be a catalyst for you. I recently shared in a different Instagram live like my story of my attack in Costa Rica and how it
oh,
really like showed me my own strength. And my intention behind sharing that live was like I never thought that I could do what I'm doing right now. And there's still pieces of it that are like can feel edgy at times, but it's like if I can step into it and do it, like any of these women can step into it and do it. We all can.
yeah,
It's just the mind and conditioning and programming that we allow to convince us otherwise. And it's not true. We're so powerful.
So, I'm like a little mum at the moment, so proud, so proud. But as a sister as well, as a sister, and it's beautiful. And I've been watching you journey too, and all your beautiful things you're doing in Mount Chester at the moment. Yeah, it's powerful, powerful. So, Brianna, I wanted to ask you a few little questions,
Hmm.
and I guess I wanted for other sisters that are curious about the priestess of Isis and curious about this path, curious about, um, you know, wanting to step through the threshold and go through the initiations. What motivated you to sign up to the priestesses of Isis?
Mm. So I don't know if you remember this, but it was for yours specifically, it was so synchronistic and aligned. Like I remember I did some like YouTube search on something completely unrelated, and your one of your videos popped up and it was like Sex Magic of Isis or something like that. And I was like, who is this woman? And and honestly, and then I watched it, and then I remember at the end you were like, "Oh, and if you want to go deeper, join my priestesses of Isis course." And it was just kind of like an immediate like, "What is that? Like, when was this? Like, how long ago was this video posted? It could have been 4 years ago." And so I just like checked it out on your and honestly, like it was the energy that I felt from you. It felt so potent and authentic. And it just felt like that's what I needed at that point in my life. I had just done a different priestess training. That was like it's been a really beautiful journey to see like how these different trainings have really built off of one another. And yeah, I connected with you. I reached out. Like
Mm,
you just I just remember like you were like, yeah, let's hop on a call, and you just seemed so genuine and authentic. But I could also tell from that YouTube video and from our conversation that like you weren't someone just like playing a show. Like you had really done the inner work and you had really unlocked a lot of those codes. And I wanted to learn from you.
beautiful. Thank you.
So I
Yeah, but
remember you.
this is the work, and this happens on the Egypt tours, this happens on the Priestess of Isis, but this happens in life too. I mean, especially when you're working with that ancient energy of Isis, she's going to pick for priestesses, and she'll line you up. This is the thing. She'll line you up. She'll make you accidentally watch a YouTube video that'll go, hang on, like, will show
Yeah.
you, yeah. So this is the beautiful thing, and this is what the priestess path is all about, is that guidance, and yeah, there's and feeling that bigger bigger picture. I mean, the priestess, as we know, priestess is in service, but she starts to develop that strong intuition, and allowing that to guide her. And
Mm.
that was the pull. And this is what touches priestesses. And this is the power. So, 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 so amazing. Um,
Mm.
so Brianna, tell us about, if you may, if you want to, about the journey you were taking while you were on the Priestess of Isis. Like, what
Mhm.
was your journey? Walk us through the journey.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like I mentioned, I had just moved to a new town and just gone through that breakup. And so it was interesting because like it was a very challenging time in my life, so that in a way made it like kind of difficult, but at the same time the amount of support that I received from the journey was like very nourishing. And yeah, I just I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Like I
Mm,
loved like that we had the lives every week, but then there was also the recorded videos and the content before that, the way that it evolved, and we went through all of the different archetypes and just really embraced all of these different facets within ourselves and
yeah.
further unlocked those codes. learning about the blood mysteries was so interesting. Learning about the different spots of the, like the different areas of the yoni, that was actually kind of new to me. And then some of the
Mm,
homework practices around that.
yeah.
But yeah, it was just, it was really nourishing. It was really supportive. Like, I would say for where I was at that time, the fact that I had that, it really kept me anchored into myself and my spiritual path, and like continuing to do my spiritual work instead of like, oh, I'm going through this phase of feeling like sad and lost. It was like, yes, and like stay on the path, like come back. And it really like helped me to deepen my own connection to myself, spirit, the divine, and
Yeah.
definitely Isis. Ever since I took that course, ever since then, people come up to me, strangers on the street, and like, oh, you have such Isis energy. And I'm like, oh, it's interesting you say that.
Funny that you say that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it definitely opened up and activated a lot within me, and things have just continued to like different oracular abilities just continue, like the intuition just keeps deepening. And so I really feel like going through that journey, and the whole process of that was very transformational in unlocking some of these ancient codes that are deep within our cellular memory. I mean, especially like
Mm,
if people are like feeling connected to this and watching, like most likely they've had those past lives, and there's a reason why they're being called. And like you said, how Isis will kind of bring you where you need to go. But
yeah.
yeah, there was a lot of like, I feel like a lot of like self the energy of self-love really came through in that course as well, which is also what I really needed at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like this is the thing with and I like to ask um about the journey, because the journey is one of the biggest parts of going through the initiation to step into it. There are challenges, there are, as a priestess, we go through, that's what initiation means. It's not just these are soul initiations, aren't they? Do you love yourself? Where's your self-worth? Do I need to surrender? One of the biggest paths for a priestess is to surrender to what you think you want, but what the goddess is telling you what you need.
Mm.
And this is, and to, like you were saying, and to trust your intuition, and to trust that power, to trust that force. And this is, um, one of the biggest things is from a woman living, a beautiful life, to then a priestess living a multi-dimensional magical life.
Right.
And I don't mean to talk it up as it's like, well, it is an amazing thing because you can manifest anything, but there are also, she wants you to heal. She wants you to go through these initiations, and sometimes they're painful.
Oh
Most
yeah.
of the time they
Most of the
are.
time.
I'm going to say they are. I'm not going to
Most of
lie.
the time the initiations are painful. But it's like through the depths, and the deeper you go, the darker you go and the deeper you go, like that's how much brighter and higher you can fly. So it's like
Mm,
it can feel so challenging, but it's like I don't know, I just feel like, especially this at the time we're in right now in this age, it's like bring it. like let's
yeah,
let's
yeah.
do this.
It's and the time is now. And I remember, Brianna, you absolutely loved. I remember the sacred sexuality, or going into that dynamic of that part of the journey of the priestess of Isis, which was into the second and third month, where we dove deeper, where we were able to bring sexuality into our craft. Yeah, and I know you were like, oh, this is my calling. This is
Yeah.
it. I know you were in your element there. Um, and this is what you do now. Um, I guess another question I'd love to ask you is what were some of the most impactful lessons or skills you learned in the container of the Priestess of Isis? And what was something, like as we're talking about for you, like I know your eyes lit up and you were like, yeah, like sacred sexuality and that women's empowerment there. I know that lit you up a lot, it lit your
Mhm.
soul on fire. What was the most impactful lessons that you got out of that, like the skills that you learned from that?
Mm. Mm. I would say one of my favorite practices that I learned from you was how to use that sexual life force energy for manifestation and use that in ritual. That was like so potent for me. And I continue to use that all the time. And yeah, that was one of the main things. The blood mysteries really spoke to me and touched my heart and soul. At that point I had already developed a really beautiful connection with my bleed, because I had, prior to that, several years ago, actually like totally dysregulated my hormones and stopped getting my bleed. And I used to, so many women, they like the way that they talk about their moon time and their bleed is like with such disdain and disgust. And when I lost mine, it wasn't until then that I realized how potent and sacred it was. But I got to go even deeper on that knowledge in your course, like some of like the ancient ways of utilizing the moon blood. So it was really beautiful to go deeper in that way, because that's something that I feel very, very connected to. I mean, I went from having no moon cycle for a couple years to I literally started my bleed yesterday on the full moon. Like I'm completely synced up. And so it's like I feel like doing these like initiations and learning from these high priestesses such as yourself, like it like recalibrates and aligns you, and in your body follows, you energetically are like learning these things and practicing them. And then, like I said, going from not having a menstrual cycle and having like a complete negative energy that I was putting towards it, to now like having such reverence and honor towards it, and being completely synced up with the lunar cycle. And like, even though is that time where it's like things can get really amplified and the veil is so thin and it can feel intense, it's like for me the most sacred time of the month. So I really connected with that piece and going deeper into that knowledge as well
There's
in your
so
course.
there's so much, like I mean, there's so much information about sex magic, but to do it properly, to go in and to do it with the guidance of Isis in her teachings as well, and to be able to, like you were saying about the womb mystery, she is the mother, she is the womb magician. Yeah, she is that. And to be able to, journey in this initiation, journey on in this container, and to be able to go back in and recalibrate, like you were saying, bring back those powers. And a lot of teachings at the moment, I know in tantra, in the tantra world, there's teachings is very patriarchal. It's very patriarchal when we actually drop into Egyptian tantra or tantra of Isis, sex magic of
Mm,
Isis. It's very feminine, matriarchal. It's
mm,
for women. It's for women and men, but it is the ancient old ways. And I know the teachings nowadays, the modern teachings of Tantra or some of that sacred sexuality is for a woman to stop her bleed, and because she loses energy.
I
And
haven't
so
heard
they,
that. I didn't realize
oh,
that was being
it's,
taught.
it's, it's right. So
What?
it's right. And of course, we lose a little bit of energy because our ovaries, we're releasing an egg. But this is the time to be able to slow down, go within, and to be able to, as witches, priestesses, tantrikas, sacred serpent sexual priestesses, we went within and we utilized that power of the blood, what our cycles were doing with the moon, in syncing it with the moon, and being able to, like you said, manifest and do spell work and do everything and create with this. There's a reason why men used to drink the blood, or they drink the blood of our cycle, is because it is so powerful and so potent.
It's so
Um,
powerful.
it's so powerful.
It's so
And
powerful.
our Amrita, when we're gushing goddesses and we're squirting, that, the priestesses used to give that elixir to men for medicine. And
Hmm.
now, in temples and churches, some women aren't allowed to go in to the temples and the churches, because if they're menstruating, they're not allowed to go in, because they think that the woman is going to cast juju or voodoo or whatever. They're scared of it because they know it's powerful. So this is the thing, and to be taught properly, by the old ancient mystery school teachings of Isis, and know the feminine lineage. It is so important. It's just, you're a walking, embodiment of the priestess of Isis. You are. Like you're saying, people are stopping you. Oh my God, your energy, Isis, and this and that. This is what it's about. This is to be able to embody it, and to be that container, to be a woman containing the essence of the goddess.
Right. And all of her facets. Like, this is something that I work with my clients on as well. And we also touched on in your course, is like all of, as women, we carry all of these different archetypes and the archetypal energies. And then there's all these different goddesses that are within us or come to us at different times. So harnessing that and tapping into that and utilizing all of the magic that each of these has, like anchoring that in the light and calling it in. I mean, that's a huge inspiration for my own self-expression as well. It's like, sometimes I wake up and I'm like, Aphrodite's coming to me strong today. Like, and I just honor that, I'm like, how does she want to come through and move through me? And I just like end up wearing like soft pinks those days, and like I just really embrace that. And so I think it's really beautiful that we have this ability to tap into these different archetypal energies and play with that, and also like just use that for assistance throughout the day or whatever it is that we most need, because I mean they're going to be coming to us at different times depending on like where our energy is at, where we're at in our lives, and what we like want to be cultivating. So yeah, that's part of my like day-to-day practice. And then that was also part of your course, like working through some of those different archetypal energies and just really embodying those in your exercises. And I really enjoyed that as well, for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, this is what it is, and the container of the priestess of Isis was for women to be able to hold the goddess essence within, and journeying for those 4 months, to be able to hold that. And now, like you're saying, being able to be the container of the goddess, and to be able to bring the essence of her in, or connect into that part of you, that part of your psyche. You're able to then really call in, like you were saying, Aphrodite. She's one of my favorite too. That's why I think we're so aligned, sister. She's one of my favorite too. And to be able to call these goddesses in, be able to be a priestess is to be able to be a master of your craft, to be able to be of service of this full power of the goddess, and to be able to serve to people, but also to be able to go through your own healing experience, to be able to heal and open and receive so much more light of the goddess, like you were saying,
Right.
you were speaking about. so much. So yeah, yeah, that was a big container, a big structure of the priestess of Isis was that
Hmm.
was that piece. So I guess, Brianna, how have you applied your what you've learned? What have you applied in your personal or professional life? What since doing the priestess of Isis? Yeah, how have you used this? I know you talked a little bit about now you're doing, you know, your goddess teachings now. You're teaching other priestesses now. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, that manifestation practice that you taught us has been like a practice of mine more in the personal.
Mm,
And yeah, this was a big stepping stone and catalyst for me. I first started with doing the new moon ceremonies, and then I started working with women one on one and really helping them to work through some of their fears and limiting beliefs and step more into self love, and then just like get the sensual body and the inner goddess alive and activated. So I work with like these different archetypes as I go through those different stages. And yeah, the things that I learned in your course have definitely inspired and been educational and practices that have integrated into just me stepping into my own leadership and being a priestess of the divine, and giving me the tools to continue to just like be a clear vessel so that I can help guide other women to, because we're always healing, and the inner goddess, that inner divine feminine energy really wants to come out and shine. And so yeah, this course helped give me the tools to step into that leadership role and to be able to create a safe and sacred space to help other women
yeah.
along this path, for sure.
And this is another thing. I don't even know to call it a course. Really, I
Right.
always like to say and mention it's sort of it's so not a course
I
in a way.
know.
It's a full initiation spiritual.
Yeah. I think
But
that's what I
the
was
beautiful,
calling it when I was going through it. I think I would have the same conversation with people. I was like, it's not really a course. It feels like an initiation.
yeah, it really is. And this is a beautiful thing because it is a transmission, but it is for, it's not like, you do a course and then you recite everything and then you just keep teaching what was taught to you. It's actually being able to find your own flavor and then allowing your unique teachings to come through, like, because your blueprint, it's like, yes, sister, I've got the call, boom, the goddess, you're online, you've caught the line, boom, and now you're going with it and
Totally.
expanding in your personality and putting your blueprint out into the world as Brianna the priestess in Mount Shasta, and sharing that. This is the beauty of it. This is magical. It's so beautiful to
Totally.
see. So
Yeah. I mean, it gives you like some of the tools and foundation to take it and run with it. And it's actually really beautiful to have your own style and flavor and not just be copying someone else, because then you're being authentic to yourself, and then that ripples out and inspires other people, because we really need that in this world. Like, we just need more authenticity and to be like real from the heart.
yeah, I guess it comes from, with the teacher, it comes from wisdom embodied. Like you were saying, you felt me as a teacher. You felt me, like, and people feel the wisdom. Yeah, and this is what it is of the initiations of going through these priestess of Isis, is to come into that. Oh, to feel your own essence, and you've got it, babe. I can feel the power coming through the phone. I can feel it. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. And yeah, I guess specific achievements? What what um, what made things possible for you in the Priestess of Isis? Like, did you, for instance, gain confidence, gain something? What was the turning point that made you go, oh, and to really teleport into, dive deep into your path? What, if that makes sense? Yeah.
Mm. It definitely gave me more self-love and confidence. And I do remember at one point in one of our lives, you encouraged us to like, I remember like you saying like, don't go back to corporate, like keep on this path. And that really stood out to me because I used to work corporate and I was just like, yes. So it gave me that kind of like, it gave me a lot of empowerment. Yeah, the course gave me a lot of empowerment and more clarity on like, yes, this is what I'm supposed to be doing for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And I wouldn't say that to everybody too, Brianna. I mean, some people need to work in corporate. If we all lost, like if we
Yeah,
all like left our jobs,
that's
I
true.
guess. But
That's true.
but
I think it
there
just stood
is,
out to me because of like my
yeah.
background and like where I was at on my journey. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know when doing some channeling, it would have been,
Yeah.
yeah, the messages for you. But yeah, but this is it. This is being able to have um, the strength, the courage, know that you're being held by the goddess to go through it, and being in the container, I guess, with other sisters going through it as well.
Hmm.
I know at the time when, because we all share synchronicities in the group, and I know at the time we were all going through big changes, splitting up with partners, moving, like it was like all of us, and we were just all holding hands going, let's just
Yeah.
go for it, let's just go through it.
That's how it
And
felt. It
yeah,
felt like we were all like in this really beautiful, sacred, compassionate container together.
yeah,
And so
yeah,
that in itself was super healing and uplifting, you
yeah.
know.
It
And then
was,
there's all the teachings, but the container was so nourishing.
yeah,
I mean, I even remember like you took the time to have a call with me when I was having a really hard time and I was just like I can't say that for every teacher, that they'll like just really show that love and compassion and take the time to just like like I felt like you were like being a friend,
yeah,
being a true friend to me.
beautiful. And still are,
Yeah.
sister, still
Yeah.
are. Still are. All right, my lovely. So I guess we talked about community and, the community, the container of Priestess of Isis, how you felt held, and,
Hmm.
because we do have our groups and our group lives, and where we're able to share with other sisters and share what we're going through, and everything, and being able to hold. I think that's another part of the Priestess of Isis, to be able to hold each other too, or reach out, uh, and feel each other as we go through such initiations. Because when the goddess Isis calls you, she'll really call you, and you know now what that feels like. It's like, oh shit, yeah, it's a calling, and there are, um, there are that deep. There are pains as well, or releasing things that you need to release, to let go of, to move into a higher part of who you are. And
Hmm.
yeah, so
Yeah, it can be
yeah,
so supportive to have a container like that when going through those, it's like it's the snake shedding its skin, it's the death and rebirth, and it's uncomfortable and sometimes very painful. So just to even have a sacred container where we're all in it together and also
yeah,
learning these ancient mystery school teachings
Mm.
it's so supportive when going through those initiations. And I actually feel like sometimes those things can come up like in a container like this, because it's like, okay, you are in a space where you are being held by other sacred supportive people to help kind of shepherd you through this.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. And look, and we all go through it. We all go, even myself. Um, we all go through. This is the life of a priestess, and they do get bigger and bigger. This is the thing, and it's about shedding the fear of stepping into your power, stepping into the voice, using the voice, because as a priestess we have to be the voice of the goddess. So we have
Mhm.
to be of service. We have to stand in that power. And my God, if you haven't had that power go through you, it can be terrifying sometimes. But to be able to be around sisters all going through this and leveling up and going through it, it's powerful. It's powerful. Um,
Yeah.
so, Brianna, who would you recommend this course to? Because now you are a teacher. You teach these transmissions, your transmissions, or the teachings of the goddess. You teach the mystery school teachings and these ancient, beautiful codings. Who would you recommend this course to, or this initiation journey to?
Mhm. I would say to someone who's either like curious about starting their spiritual path or is already on their spiritual path and really wants to go deeper and learn some of these like more ancient mystery school teachings that aren't regularly found or taught.
Mm,
Um, and someone that like wants to learn some of these tools to work with themselves, or maybe someone that kind of like me where you're where I was, where it's just like, okay, I feel this priestess energy within me, like these are my passions, but I don't really know what I want to do. Like it gave a lot of guidance towards my own inner trajectory as well. So yeah, it could be for someone that's like, okay, I just want to like tiptoe in, or maybe you like just want more clarity, maybe you want some tools, maybe you just want to go like deeper into these ancient teachings. I mean, there's these teachings are so potent, and
mm,
they're not all over the place, and it's coming from an authentic source such as yourself as well. So
mm. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's a hard one because it is for all women ready to step on the path, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Or step
All
up in
ages,
that path,
or step
Yeah.
up. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And I guess this work is for women that are ready to step in on their mission, to step to truly have that niggling feeling that just won't leave you alone,
Right.
until you're on it, and of all ages, there's women of the young to women they're in their 70s,
Mhm.
which is always my favorite, the women that are 70 when they start to become sexually active again, and they're gushing and they're juicy again and alive. It's amazing. And this is the work now that you would love to see too in your women when their eyes are glowing, or they're oh wow, this is the work, and this is the beauty of the transmission and bringing that through. um, so
Yeah.
what would you say to someone that is considering doing this course? Is sort of like, I want to, but I don't know. What would you say to them?
I would say do it. I would say like don't hesitate and do it. But also I would say practice your own womb oracle intuition, and ask the goddess Isis, like, is this for me? Start to even
Mm,
practice those um practice that, like the inner intuition and like feel into it. But
Mm,
like I said, for me, it was just like, and this doesn't happen to me often. I can actually be quite an indecisive person, but it was just like, yes.
yeah.
But yeah, so, like feel into like, am I not sure, not want, like, because is this like because of fear, or like is this something that I do want to explore? Because you're intrigued for a reason. There's a
Yeah.
reason, like if they're wondering and they're kind of on the fence, like ask yourself like why you're on the fence, and acknowledge the fact that like you were drawn and curious for a reason. So why not? It's super
Mm,
magical, amazing.
yeah. Yeah. And so we now we're looking at doing a retreat in Mount Shasta. Maybe
Nice.
at the end of the year we'll have to let everybody know. Yeah, I'm really excited. I can feel that coming. Mount
Yes.
Shasta
Well, especially like
calling.
your connection with Lumeria. I mean,
Yes.
that is Shasta and the Moo people, and it's all here. Like I feel like you are supposed to come here so we can do this
I
retreat
can feel
together. Like it's like meant to
that.
be. And yeah,
Yeah.
especially like just the similar codes that we both carry, but with our own flavors, and how we both work with the different goddesses and the goddess. Like I feel like it'll be a really potent and magical initiation for people to come and experience. And the home that it will be at, it's this beautiful big home with this meadow that has this rock that's kind of like, I don't know, there's something very sacred about this rock. And there's a creek on the land, there's a hot tub and a pool. So I really envision some like rebirthing and initiations along with teachings. And obviously there's the sacredness of Mount Shasta, which super amplifies anything here. And so any like intentions or manifestations for what the attendee priestesses want to release or call in, it just in being here. And of course we would visit the mountain and do ritual there, obviously.
Mm.
Like it's all going to be amplified. It's
Yeah.
crazy, the synchronicities and the amount that things can really accelerate here. And so that's why it's like a really powerful place to do retreats.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more magic with you, sister, and yeah, diving deeper into the portals of Shasta, Mount Shasta. So, Brianna, anything else you'd like to share with the audience? Anything uh, with yourself now that you have finished the Priestess of Isis? Anything you'd like to share that we haven't talked about? Anything? Yeah.
Mm, thank you for opening up that space. Yeah, I would say like just so much growth and transformation has happened within that container. And since then, um, my own journey and stepping into a place of helping women was really amplified by your course, and along with my own relationship, like I said, with like being attacked by a man, really catapulted my inspiration to want to bring the goddess back and alive and help
Mm,
women to, we all have the masculine and feminine energy, but the feminine energy has just been so, her light has been so dimmed, and there's so much beauty and power and creativity and magnetism in her energy. So yeah, it's
mm,
been a blessing to really step onto my dharmic path. And even though that event in Costa Rica that I mentioned was super traumatic, it showed me the strength and the power that I have. And now I'm just have such a desire to share that with others, and yeah, help women to step into their feminine energy in a sacred way, so that they can be on their path and be in alignment with their soul's truest desires. So anyone that's watching, I highly welcome you to connect with me, connect with me on Instagram. If you want to join my email list via my link in my bio, I have a Kundalini activation workshop and offer gifted consultation, discovery calls. So any of those things, like I would love to stay connected with each and every one of you. And yeah, it's
And
just
we'll share a link too. We'll put this up on the stories. So we'll share a link of your Instagram so people can reach out to you too.
amazing.
Yes. My sister, blessings. It's so beautiful to see you, and I will definitely, of course, we will be in touch as always. And yeah, thank you, thank
Yeah.
you.
I just want to say how grateful I am to have you in my life, and you're always inspiring me. Like I'm seeing you out there and you just glow with so much magic and really show up in the light. Always,
Mm,
like I can just feel it and see it, and
yeah,
so much
and
love and appreciation for you.
thank you so much. And behind that showing up, there's a lot of initiations behind that too, as you know.
Mhm. Well,
Um,
they don't
you know,
stop, you know?
never,
It's just
never, never.
like it's layers and levels and expansion and growth. And so yeah, I
For the
feel like
goddess.
this accelerates it,
Mm,
doing these teachings, learning from someone who's like walking that path already. It accelerates the process so much faster, like
yeah,
going through those initiations and your own growth and stepping onto your own path.
definitely, definitely. Like with the goddess, she wants you to be uh, happy. She wants you to be your full potential. So if there's anything that is in your way, your little humanness, she'll want to cut it off for you so you can be freer.
Mm.
But sometimes that's the pain of being human too, is releasing what we hold on to too.
Right,
Going
right.
into power, going into full alignment.
Yeah. Well, that's also part of like the stepping into your feminine energy and just getting out of the mind. It's like we've become
Yeah.
so disconnected from our bodies, and it's like, what are the sensations that are coming up? How does that make me feel? Like, is this a yes? Is this a no? Like, I feel like as a society we've become so conditioned to just be kind of like calculating, and it's the intuition and that womb wisdom, and like that's that feminine energy that you can like tap into, and so yeah, like surrendering to that instead of like clinging on and grasping, so that these initiations and releases can take place so that you can step into your power, into your path, into your purpose.
So beautiful, and so super proud of you. And it'd be so amazing in Mount Shasta to walk beside you as priestesses and to be able to really call in the magic and bring the energy through us and into Mount Shasta.
Mm.
Can't wait. So
Mm.
everybody keep an eye out for details.
Coming soon.
And yeah, coming soon. Coming
Yeah, but
soon.
it's gonna be
Yeah.
magical. I can feel it. Like it's gonna be potent.
Love you, Brianna. I will let you go. And yeah, and anybody watching this, we will keep this on the stories, and I will add Brianna's link as well. So if you want to reach out to Brianna,
Mm.
beautiful. Love you,
I
goddess.
loved
Bye,
you. Thank you so much.
darling. Bye.
Bye.